I'm Matt Fote, CEO of Emerging. We see an opportunity with this fund as the future of the industry is really dependent on the merging of restaurant technology with early stage concepts in the hospitality space. And the F&B technology is exploding in the industry, as you can see, is driving a lot of efficiencies that are needed. The guys that leverage the technology are going to be the clear winners in this space. And fortunately, Emerging has a 20-year track record of bringing technology and concepts together.
I think a large institutional investor would be smart to look at the Emerging Fund for a couple reasons. One is we are food service entrepreneurs. We've built companies from the ground up, and we still are, running and managing and building companies. I don't think they are going to see that very often from your typical large private equity funds. Secondly, we're food service experts. The food service industry is projected to grow well over 10% for many years to come. So putting some of their money to work in the food service space, especially with a technology angle, is a very good use of their funds. Thirdly, we're going to have the most robust pipeline. We are ingrained in this industry. We're talking to everybody. We see everybody. Every technology company or restaurant company ends up getting connected to one of our companies in one way, shape, or form. And with this fund, we're going to have a vehicle to not just partner with them, but to actually invest in them. And of course, if we're invested, we're going to have a lot more incentive to drive our restaurant-based customers through their software or technology, or really give them the most resources to help them grow the number of restaurant locations they're looking to open.
We see our investments on the concept side really as ones that are out there, they're new, they're innovative, they're leveraging technologies, they're leveraging data to be more effective with customers so they can grow quickly and be less impacted by things like inflation, recessionary pressures, those types of things. We see our investments as ones that are on the cutting edge, that are innovative, that are unique, that are driving customer traffic, not just being the beneficiary of overall traffic in a given trade area.
I mean, I think the Emerging Fund represents the exact type of change and the type of help that the restaurant industry needs. It's not just looking at only the technology side. It's not only looking at on the restaurant side. It's looking at whatever is emerging in this space. And by definition, that means they're working with the newest technology. It means they're working with the newest concepts and the newest brands. Emerging is literally investing in all of these new pieces of technology that are going to help take restaurants to the next generation and to the next level. And so being able to be a part of that with my experience at Chally, but also with the team that already is at Emerging, makes it a slam dunk for me to be a part of. And I'm glad that I am a part of it.
It's easy to solve a lot of the industry's problems on paper. It's another to live and breathe them every day. And the fact that two verticals can support each other in this model is unfortunately unique in the landscape that we play in. And it's not only necessary, it's something that I think will win out in the end. So I think a lot of PE firms are just providing capital and maybe a tough board meeting. It's really a communal resource pool at Emerging.
The systems architecture we're building in the back end of the business is really so critical in terms of our ability to have insight over the business, our ability to be able to control the business, the data we can capture, what that means in terms of driving single customer view, in terms of the analysis around what we can feed into when we're looking at property acquisition, when we're looking at procurement and supply chain and loyalty. And this is the way things are going to be. It's just the ability to be able to triangulate how in some businesses where tech can leverage and enhance an opportunity, and then having the people around the table to be able to understand how that could go or how we could support it going to support success is pretty unique.
If you're a restaurant operator and you've got a hot concept and you're looking for how do I scale, there are people like me on the board and that have been there, done that multiple times, and there's nothing like I've been down the path 3-4 times now, growing out brands, and we're in the process of guiding some of our CEOs and our portfolio companies that are doing it. So, it's being able to tell somebody, I know what's over the next hill. I've been there, I've done it, and here's what's going to happen.
One of the best parts about the emerging fund is the diversity of experience that comes with it. You have people who have spent their whole lives on the supply chain side of the business. You have people who spent their whole lives operating actual restaurant groups, new creative concepts, large-scale fast food concepts. You have a whole team of venture partners that are literally running some of the most innovative technology companies today, whether they're working on data warehousing or virtual restaurants, or whatever the case may be. They have such an amazing roster of people that can help operators and founders and CEOs of companies that come along with the capital. And as someone who's raised a lot of money from venture capital groups, I can tell you that additional value and the people that come with it end up being 10 times more valuable than the cash that goes in the bank account.
So as part of that, years ago, started a fund with some friends, and we got involved in a number of different concepts and really enjoyed that. We exited from those, and when the opportunity came to start with Emerging Fund and Matt and the team, just really excited about this ability to bring just some of the industry leaders that you've looked up to, that you've competed against, that all want to be part of this because they see the same thing.
There's a ton of restaurant tech that's coming out there, and for them to understand like what's really going to help them from a bottom line perspective, right? I mean, we've seen, I don't know, 10 years ago, it was all a single POS system, like it was NCR and a bunch of these people, and now there's Toast and Spot On. I mean, we're talking about two companies that one just went IPO. I'm sure the other one's going to go IPO, and tens and tens of billions of dollars of valuation. They came out of nowhere. And I think that's because of need, because of these, Aloha and these other POS systems had a monopoly in the space, but they didn't continue to innovate. And I think there's tens of thousands of those examples that are being now presented to the bar tech world that are really important. And I think the best ones will continue to shine, and they are important to help.
So I think educating them about the value of being a good actor and then preparing them for that will resonate really well also when they talk to restaurant groups, because they'll be talking the lingo about how to improve their EBITDA, how to create better margins, retention of employees. If we make them think about their business plan and their product and how to really solve and be a good actor to restaurants, then the restaurants will reciprocate back with the same kind of behavior. Think about Emerging Fund. If we become known for a company who prepares them to be good actors, then it's going to be almost pre-vetting for restaurant groups to go, I'm okay doing business with companies that Emerging invested in, because they would invest in a company that would be a bad actor.
There's different things and ways that tech will come along and help drive this industry. And if you don't merge those two concepts, it's not, you're never going to advance. And that's what exactly we're addressing, is this industry has been the same forever. And whatever tech that's starting to pop up is making it evolve, and it's making it happen. And, if you're not open-minded to tech advancements, you're just going to fall behind.
At Emerging, I think that there's a unique opportunity for entrepreneurs to teach these restaurant tech entrepreneurs, how can you really scale the business, both tech and service, to really exceed the expectations of the hospitality clients. Restaurateurs need to become more like software companies. And I think that's why I believe that this fund is uniquely positioned with its mandate to invest in both restaurant tech and the future restaurant hospitality concepts. That's the way it needs to be. And so I think this fund has a competitive advantage in this mandate and bringing in these entrepreneurs to help both of these group of young entrepreneurs.
I think what makes the Emerging Fund very unique for potential investors into our fund is that we're very niche focused. We're food service focused. There's obviously a lot of very large, successful generalist funds out there, but nobody's made as many investments in the food service space that we have. We've acquired over 30 companies in the last 5 years, and we've been averaging 11x return over that time period?
I think that the people behind the fund are kind of incredible. I mean, I've either read their books or had the fortunate opportunity to meet them before. It's an inspiring group of people who are always focused on what's next. The deals that are coming to the table are amazing. The concepts, the quality of technology, and the fact that everyone has gotten their hands dirty and understands kind of the basics of the industry is really important to me.
Most people who get into the restaurant game are entrepreneurs, and they have the same passion, the same work ethic. They push as hard as they can, all on behalf of their customer. And so for me, what inspires me in this business is that I get to work with other entrepreneurs every day. And that gets me so excited.
Which is, I think, largely why the UK is so ahead of the rest of the world in terms of the variety of concepts that exist here in the competitive socializing space compared to other markets in the US. And make no mistake, it is coming everywhere globally. Really on the back of that, I then did a flurry of additional concepts since, and then created Flight Club, which is taking darts again, but fusing it with technology, an incredible gameplay around the dartboard, which has again been a huge success. Again, really emphasizing that best-in-class quality in terms of food and beverage execution. So I then created Putt Shack, this time taking mini golf with technology. The two guys that invented Top Golf came to me with a technology that is effectively a computer in a golf ball, which enables you to automatically score mini golf. I then took that technology and effectively created Putt Shack. But really the big thing that I'm doing at the moment that's I think is going to be the biggest thing I've done yet is a concept with Formula One. It's racing for all standards, all backgrounds, all ages, everything, which is really important. So that's a global deal I've got with F1, a very long-term license. It's the first time F1 have ever come into the equity of any partner in their history, which is a pretty big statement. They're on the board, and we're rolling that out, owning and operating in the UK and the US, and then franchising and joint venturing everywhere else around the world.
Created Rockfish Seafood Grill. It was an instant hit, and we built 4 more, and then Brinker knocked on the door and wanted to buy it. So sold the company, ended up buying it back from them, had to close restaurants and come up with new concepts to fill those vacancies, and realized that was my real strength, was in concept development, creativity, ideation. It's so important not to be a me too concept. If you just want to open another Italian restaurant with no real points of differentiation, as you may open up one and be really successful because you're a great operator, you got a great location, there's no direct competition in your immediate trade area. But as you start to grow it becomes a zero-sum game.
But once we figured out our model in our niche in the bar industry, we decided to raise a fund for Four Corners. So we did do a prior fund before federalized direct fund, which we raised 33 million and did 10 concepts with that fund. And that was really the model, right? We learned that having the cash organized and the ability to move quickly in any market and cut deals, we can lease deals or go ground up or adaptive reuse. We can do whatever we wanted because we had the flexibility and a pool of capital behind us that had confidence in whatever path we wanted to go, but to react fast. And that's really what it was. And to simplify it, raising capital is not easy, as everyone knows, in any industry. So to take that burden off, usually people get bogged down in their startups with the burden of raising capital. It's never ending. And so just to get that behind you was a really important step.
It was an industry problem, and I was motivated to solve it because the industry really didn't have these tools. We were able to build the company, from 0 to 10,000 restaurants in 70 countries, and really became the leaders in analytics software for the industry.
how do you get if it was early stage, it's like how do you get product market fit, right? How do you get customers to pay for your product as early as possible and as many as possible, right?
In some companies, in some industries, you come and say $100 a month, there's like rounding error. And in the restaurant industry, $100 a month can be a really challenge for them sometimes. So that's kind of the key we can help kind of advise and what you pursue in the vision that's can be scaled and what you don't.
If you're a CEO of a tech company and you're focused on the restaurant sector, I mean, we can give you real unvarnished feedback, with our multitude of brands and that are involved in the fund. The most appropriate ones can be a test case if it's a startup tech. It's a place to try it out and get real feedback. If it's already up and running and you just need access to other operators, myself and our other restaurant CEOs and operators that are part of this fund, our network is wide, and we can make introductions and recommendations, and I think that carries a lot of weight.
In my experience in running those companies in turnaround situations, in restructurings, in growth phases, all comes to bear as we kind of work with those clients and work with those portfolio companies in solving the issues that face them on a regular basis.
Obviously, the exciting part is, the team that you brought together, and there's a ton of different backgrounds, right? So, I mean, obviously, you guys from Emerging have such incredible experience, like, both working with these concepts and then seeing them scale within the market. I think there's a lot of a breadth of knowledge that they've seen every different aspect of the actual restaurant business, whether it's real estate, scaling, financing, and then also technology, I think is really important.
And I think technology is the future for the industry. And as I wrote in my book, the Underground Culinary Tour, it's really the new guard restaurateurs are going to be the future of who's feeding, in America and around the globe. And I think with this fund, why I'm interested in being a part of it is I've got the unique opportunity to help young restaurant tech entrepreneurs learn how can they really exceed guest expectations with their product development and product strategy, but yet also their service organization. See, what took me 17 years, I believe that I could teach them. It shouldn't take 17 years. I've made certainly a lot of mistakes and I've learned from them, and I like to pass along that wisdom to young restaurant tech entrepreneurs. So why can't they accomplish it? Maybe not 17 years, but why not 4 years to get to 10,000 restaurants? Fund's mission unique is entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. It's something very different. Whereas, having a financier tell you, hey, this is what you ought to do, versus an entrepreneur says, hey, look, I've done this before. I've made these mistakes. Have you considered it this way? Let me look at, your pipeline and let's see, let me see what you're seeing and let me help you, maybe guide you.
I think what the Emerging Fund's going to do, and what I'm excited about with my time, is to try and help different people in various ways. And maybe we can leverage lessons learned or best practices that I've been able to do through whatever industry I'm in, both the real estate side, my investment history, and now as an operator of a bar company. So kind of combining everything at once, just like you said when we started, it's almost a perfect fit for me. I'm excited to just almost lean into what I've learned and try and help where I can. So to figure out who can innovate in this industry, and we can find and identify the best in class and invest in them, and then help others find them and escalate their growth curve or simplify their problems for them. I think that's part of it.
We love CEOs and founders. This whole company was built on supporting CEOs and founders. So the concepts that we believe have the foundation to be industry leaders, to be the top in their category, those are the concepts or the companies that we will put our resources behind.